Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the New York Jets franchise as we recap Season 3. But first, let's just take a look at the Super Bowl. We did lose in the AFC Championship to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, that high-powered offense. And now they face the MVP, now signed with the Giants, in Baker Mayfield. He threw 42 touchdowns and only 11 interceptions, but he has tons of weapons. Darius Slayton's still there, Evan Ingram, and also Isaiah Ford from the St. Louis State Rivercats dynasty. He's in his second year. And then on defense, they have some veterans that are at cornerback, Chris Harris Jr. and Richard Sherman. That was an interesting strategy going into the offseason for sure for the Giants. They decided to spend a ton of money in free agency. So let's just get into the highlights here in Season 3 Super Bowl. Remember last season, Dan Settle took on Brent Thompson, and the Jaguars took that Super Bowl home. But now here's Patrick Mahomes back there. Here on their first drive, here's a throw to the end zone, and that is caught by Tyler Eifert, who is now backing up Travis Kelce in Kansas City. So the Chiefs start out 7-0. Out comes Baker Mayfield. 4,100 yards. Had himself a great season after the Browns decided not to re-sign him. So here he is in the first quarter, throwing out to left side, and that is Anthony Miller on the catch and fumble, and it's picked up by the Chiefs and ran back to the 11-yard line. Remember, we were pointing out in our Kansas City game that Barton was possibly a weakness, but he made an interception in that game, and now a fumble recovery and great field position for the Chiefs on the next possession. So here's a throw across the middle, and that is caught by Jack Miller, who was drafted in the second round by the Chiefs in season number 1. And now they take the 14-0 lead. So here is Baker Mayfield backing onto the field, trying to answer back as he throws on the run to the left side, and that is a nice completion by Anthony Miller, maybe redeeming himself after that fumble earlier. So now from the 19, quick throw across the middle, and another catch. And now they're inside the 10-yard line, first and goal. Now they get it to a third down, throw to the flats, and it's caught by the rookie. Touchdown out of the backfield, stepping in for Saquon Barkley that time, and he gets in for the touchdown. And now it's 14-7. So now just before halftime, here is Mahomes back onto the field. 2 touchdowns already in the first half, as here he is just moving the ball with ease on this Giants defense. Back-to-back first downs on that one as they get it inside the 5. Quick throw, and that's the third of the half this time for the Chiefs. It's a touchdown. That's Ricky Seals-Jones who gets in. How about both of the backup tight ends getting touchdowns in the first half for the Chiefs? So now they move on to the second half. Here's a screen pass looking for Barkley as Mayfield, and tackled in the backfield. And look who it is. Is that Barton again? Man, he just makes plays as they settle for the long field goal, and it's good, bringing it to a 21-10 game. But 10 points isn't going to be enough to beat this offense. Here's Mahomes back onto the field, and there's a nice play, and that was caught by Kelce, but Chris Harris Jr., the veteran that time, with the tackle. And now the Giants have an opportunity to come back, make it a one-possession game. Here's a throw to the right side, and that is caught. And Sterling Shepard gets involved in the passing game as he's now across the 50. So quick throw by Baker. Now zooming the ball inside the 27. Nice catch that time. I believe that was Darius Slayton. And they move the chains once again. But they eventually get it to a 3rd and 15. Mayfield's under pressure. He gets hit on the throw, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Barkley out of the backfield, and it falls incomplete, and they settle for the field goal, now making it 21-13. So it is a one-possession game, 8 points. But here is Mahomes back onto the field. Here's a screen pass called for Damian Williams. Is that Damian Williams? Yep, that is Damian Williams. 26 yards for number 26. It's a first down to about the 17. They eventually get it inside the 5, and that is a touchdown run. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets in. And now this game seems like it's out of reach, but Baker Mayfield does have an opportunity to come back here late in the game. So now down to the 2-minute warning. Here is Mayfield, and he gets swallowed up right away by Chris Jones. That is his third sack of the evening. Now Mahomes on a 2nd and 13. Or Mayfield, he rolls it to the left side, and he is going to get run down. That is Emmanuel Ogbah, who, remember, had that big strip tackle on Dwayne Lincoln in the AFC Championship game. So now 31-13, it's just a heave to the end zone, picked off. He got hit on the throw. Tyrann Mathieu is there, and that one seals this game up. 31-13 ends up being the final. And Mayfield just had no time to throw the ball all game long. He was sacked 6 times, and the Chiefs get their 2nd Super Bowl in 4 seasons. And how about that? Andy Reid got his Super Bowl. He retired after season 1, so they do have a new head coach. Mahomes brings home the MVP once again. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in this game. Only missed 6 passes. He threw the ball 39 times. And that ends up being the difference in this game. Mayfield just couldn't do anything, so the former MVP gets the current MVP in this one. Chris Jones, 3 sacks, and also Ogbah had a half sack along with William Gay. So now we can just recap the season here, and I think the Jets had a very good season, especially since we had a rookie quarterback under center. Tyree did a pretty good job in his first season. Turned the ball over a lot less than Darnold did. Darnold didn't do so well with the Panthers. They actually have a top 10 pick in the upcoming draft. But we do have a couple of new Pro Bowlers. How about Mekhi Becton getting into his first Pro Bowl? Because remember, last year we didn't have anybody in this game at all. So Mekhi Becton getting in is a good sign. Blake Cashman is in. He led the league in tackles this year, and he is looking for that new contract. He's probably going to get it from us, and I'm hoping that we do keep him. Javarius Ward makes it after we traded him away, but how about Ashton Davis? He makes it. He was basically a slot nickel corner for us the entire season, and he does get that second free safety spot, so I'm not sure how they measure that up in the game, but he did end up getting into the Pro Bowl. So we have a few guys this year up from none a year ago. So we did finish 11-5 in the regular season, and just looking at the other teams in our division, you know, it's pretty even now because remember, we played the Patriots in the wild card round, and they're going to look a lot different next year unless they re-sign Cam Newton, which I don't think they will do. I think they're going to let him walk, and they're going to probably have a new quarterback under center come next season. The Dolphins obviously have George Jenkins, and now they have a new defensive leader, Nathan Beaver, who almost stole that Defensive Rookie of the Year award away. And then the Bills. The Bills are just good. I mean, they started out, I believe, 1-4 this season and then finished 10-6. So they had a big time turnaround. And then Josh Allen really came on late, but they just lost that tiebreaker with the Patriots and ended up not making the playoffs with a 10-6 record. So looking at our award winners, we barely had any, to be honest. Kristaps Ivanov is there once again for his actually, it's always a kicker for us. It always seems like we always have a guy that's up at that best kicker award, but besides that, nobody else won anything, not even Chance Tyree, who had a very, very good season. He is now the number 30 ranked quarterback, 30 touchdowns, 14 interceptions this year, 3,700 yards. And once we changed the offense to that Dallas playbook, I think that Tyree really started to shine because we had that Lamar Jackson type of offense. It just didn't work for us. So we decided to switch to more of a spread type of offense where we got a lot more receivers involved. And it actually opened up the run game, especially for Dwayne Lincoln. I mean, obviously, he led the NFL with 16 touchdowns in the regular season. Then he had a couple of huge games in the playoffs as well. So he had a really good rookie season. I did not expect him to have that type of impact, especially being a 5th-round pick. I thought Le'Veon Bell was at least going to finish out his career with the Jets, or at least this whole season at least. But we ended up trading him away to the Texans, where they actually did make the playoffs, but then lost in the first round as well. Now, Deion Carter had a good year running the ball, 425 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was more of a third down back anyway. He was a really good receiver for us. LaMichael Pirine did get in at times, especially when we had injuries, and I am going to keep him around probably for the long term. I really like what he brings to the table. He's not really a fast guy, but he's a guy that when you give the ball, he's going to break some tackles and also get in on the goal line as well. Now, going into the offseason, I really thought, mid-season that I was going to have to go and draft a receiver or go and sign a big one or trade for one. But I think Denzel Mims has really changed my mind. He had 5 touchdowns, but almost had an 1,000-yard season. He really started to come around late. And with Deshaun Purnell getting playing time, I think that really did impact his production as well, because now teams had to focus on 2 guys on the outside, not just one. Jamison Crowder had a good year, 7 touchdowns, 875 yards. He's not going anywhere. But how about the season that Tariq Macklin had? Now, we had a dilemma, remember, last season about who is the top tight end, Tariq Macklin or Christopher Herndon. I think that question has been answered for sure when Herndon only had 2 touchdowns to Macklin's 9. I think that showed that Macklin, in his 3rd season going into now, he is definitely going to be one of the best ones in the NFL. Now, looking at the rest of our receivers, we didn't really have a 4th or 5th receiver that really came in and kind of took the reins there. So I think that's kind of an open position going into the offseason. Carlos Jackson, we tried him on the outside beginning the year, but it didn't work out. He's our primary returner, and I think that's what he's going to be. And I think that's kind of his ceiling at this point. You kind of try out somebody and see what they can do, and if they don't look impressive, we gave him 4 games starting this season, and then we switched to Deshaun Purnell, and it was like night and day. So Jackson's going to stick with the punt returning and kick returning, and that's what he's going to be. Now, our offensive linemen, we really have one hole, and it's going to be that left guard, center position, and Connor McGovern's going to be a free agent. We did sign Connor Williams, but I am honestly thinking about replacing him already after a 1 year of his 3-year deal. He is in his mid-20s, so he's going to be easier. If we wanted to trade him, he would be easier to trade. He does have a big price tag, $11 million a year, but I think that we can do better here. We could not run the ball to the left side of the line at all. I mean, Mekhi Becton did his thing, but whenever we tried to run a dive, it just didn't work. Peter Weeks was actually a better run blocker than he was, and he's actually primarily a pass blocking guard. So that kind of shows that maybe Connor Williams just isn't a fit with this offensive line, and maybe we just need to go a different direction. I will probably explore that in the offseason. Another thing we definitely have to do is get Blake Cashman re-signed, and another trade that could happen is CJ Mosley. I think that the season that Cashman had, I think that definitely makes CJ Mosley expendable, especially since, he led the league in tackles. He also has been leading our team in interceptions so far in this series, and I value that a lot. And he's also fast, 89 speed as a middle linebacker. That's pretty good. I think he's actually top 5 in that category, but I'll have to check that for sure. Alex Hopkins had a good year, and he is going to, be locked into his rookie deal for at least a couple more years. He was a first-round pick, so he has that 5th-year option. And Ashton Davis, he's going to have to get a contract extension next season already. We're going to have some contract extensions. Quinnen Williams, Ashton Davis, all those guys are going to have to get money, so we're going to have to free it up somehow. And I think that Connor Williams and CJ Mosley will be the first to at least go. CJ Mosley, I just don't know. He's 31, and when I put him in the lineup, he's good. He's just not as good as Blake Cashman, and it just doesn't make sense to have 2 $10 million middle linebackers, because that's exactly what Cashman's going to get from us. I'm going to offer him $10 million a year. It's a fair contract, realistic contract, so I'm going to give that to him. How about the year that Solomon Thomas had? A lot of you guys did not want me to sign him in the offseason. We did, 10.5 sacks. It leads our team. Quinnen Williams, 7.5 sacks. He's going to have to be extended pretty soon as well. So we signed Chuma Edoga. We have to re-sign Quinnen Williams. We have to re-sign Ashton Davis. We have to re-sign Blake Cashman. There's just not going to be enough money to go around for all of these guys. And we're going to have to make some decisions probably next season, after next season, about, who we're going to extend and who we let go. We're probably going to have to end up letting go of a good player. Now, Brad Matthews, I think, had a down year rushing the passer, but had a very good year stopping the run. He was pretty good containing on the outside. Nobody really ran for any big-time runs when they ran to his side, so that was a good sign for that. Now, the other side of the defense, though, Deandre Waddle is going into his second year and now his first year as a full-time starter. So I don't know if I'm going to sign somebody to kind of back him up. We do have Whitney Merciless, who we got over from the Texans, but I think I might go after another guy to at least help out the development of Waddle on the right side of the defense. We'll have to see. Now, interception-wise, Ashton Davis led us in interceptions along with Levi Wallace. How about the season that Levi Wallace had? We made a decision to trade Travarius Ward over him, and that was definitely the right move. Even though Travarius Ward made the Pro Bowl, I think that, teams could not throw to the right side of the field at all. Now, Marcus May is interesting. He's going into the last year of his deal. He's going to be one of those guys that going to have an expiring contract as well, along with CJ Mosley. I don't know how that will go, but honestly, getting towards age 30, 31, 32, that's around the time you let those guys walk. Now, Emmanuel Mosley is a free agent this year. I'm not going to re-sign him. I thought it was a good experiment. He has good ratings. He will sign somewhere else more than likely and be a starter. I just didn't think it fit here. He gave up a lot of big plays on the defense. Now, how about the season that George Caver had as well? 29 tackles, 43. It looks like 43 tackles, 29 solo. And then he had that big interception in the wild card round, the pick six. I mean, those are the type of plays you want from your depth guys, and that's what I'm mainly going to do here in the offseason. Not make any huge moves, but signing those depth guys for sure. Henry Anderson had a good season. We signed him to a 3-year extension, I believe that was. He's making good money, but he'll be a lifelong Jet. Whitney Merciless, I'm probably going to keep him around just for depth. I thought that I was going to trade him. He does have a kind of expensive contract, but at least it's expiring next season. So I think that I'm probably going to keep him around. Yeah, it's about $12.5 million. That's a lot of money for Whitney Merciless and for a guy that's probably not even starting for us. So we'll see about that. I don't know if I will trade him, but I need some guys to at least stay around just in case of injury, and that might end up being the case for him. Fadu Kazi is going to be due a contract extension soon. I mean, there's so many. At the end of next season, there's going to be so many guys that need contracts. There's just not going to be enough money to go around. And Fadu Kazi, pretty good, but do we need him? Does he make the impact of a guy that deserves a bigger contract? I don't think so. Now, looking around the league, how about the season that Justin Roberto and Ethan Brown had in their rookie seasons? Really good. They did not really do anything in the playoffs, but good things to build off of. Dwayne Lincoln led the NFL in touchdowns on the ground, 16. Chris Carson was second with 14. T.Y. Hilton led the NFL, 1,300 yards. And I believe he actually led in touchdowns, or maybe Michael Thomas did. I'm not really sure. Let's see. No, T.Y. Hilton did. 14 touchdowns. Pretty good season from him. Hopkins had 13. Kirk had 13. And looking at defense here, sacks. Khalil Mack, 19 sacks. Myles Garrett, 18.5. J.J. Watt, 16. And we don't have a guy that's going to put up these huge numbers. I thought that maybe Brad Matthews could have gotten here his rookie season. He had 12.5, but he ended up getting hurt last few games, so he didn't get there. And then how about Bobby Wagner leading the league with 7 interceptions? That's incredible. So that's going to do it here in the season recap. Next episode will be the off season as we look to add some pieces, not make too many big moves, but I think adding on top of what we already have. And I think this is our year to go after, because after next year, a lot of contracts expire. So hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I've been working hard for a minute. The ones who don't deserve it seem to be the ones that get it. The ones who speak the truth never get the recognition, but the ones that act foolish seem to get all the attention. It don't matter though, yeah, and it don't even matter though, nope.